Welcome. So this is another step for John David on Zoom tonight. So recently we've had a 4-day retreat over the Easter, and we had our meetings in a circle, actually also about 25 people, which we have tonight on the Zoom. So this is our biggest ever meeting, but that's not really what makes it special. So my tech expert, Ohm, has just shown me how I can fill up my big computer screen with everybody's picture at the same time. So this is actually very beautiful because it's like I'm sitting with a circle of people around me. So this is very, very nice. Michael, if you can hear me, you are very much in shadow. I can't see your face, and I can only see the top of your friend's head. Maybe you can adjust onto the screen. And Jan has already disappeared. Maybe you can open your camera. Deanne, I don't see you either. But this woman is this woman, isn't it?
No.
Oh, this is somebody else. Who's this one?
Lily.
Who?
Lily.
Oh, that's Lily. Oh. I didn't recognize. So I find this very special because while one of you is talking to me, I can see the effect you're having on all the other people, which is rather lovely. So for me, this is really a special moment. It's also nice that we have so many people. It's nice to welcome Luigi back from Italy. I haven't seen him recently. And we have Pedro and Angel from Spain. It's also very nice. And we have our own community crew who is down in Spain at the moment. And we have Arjuna from Ukraine. Leela also from Spain. We have also Erica from Ukraine. So we have a really good mix of, and Italy, we have Marco also from Italy. So we have 2 Italians, quite a lot of Ukrainians and Spanish, and of course a few German are there. VJ is also there from Ukraine, God. So we have a very international meeting tonight. That's very nice for me. So let's start with the usual meditation. So if you sit comfortably, close your eyes, look inside, and bring your awareness to whatever is the strongest thing that's happening in this moment. So that could be thoughts, that could be emotions, feelings, it could be some body sensation, and it may indeed be simply silence. So whatever is the strongest, bring your attention to that place. So you can open your eyes, come back into the meeting. Would somebody like to share what happened in the meditation? Perhaps we should ask Angel, as I can see he's disappearing into the blackness of his car. Pedro, maybe you ask him to put the car light on so we can see him. I guess he's already gone beyond. So let's try somebody else. Who would like to offer a Prema? Would you like to? You've been hard at work cooking down in Denya. Now's your chance, your moment. 10 minutes of fame, probably only 2 minutes of fame.
In this moment, it was not so quiet.
Okay. Raj, you look like you're bursting to share something.
It was quiet, some tension in the belly, which stayed basically, which didn't stay that much, but quiet and some tension in the body.
Okay. Danny, would you like to share something?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Now, I always know you from your book, Cheryl.
Oh, yeah, behind me, yeah. which I'm not an expert of.
Right.
Yes, at the beginning there was a bit nervousness and thoughts. And then I came back to stillness and also tiredness. But yeah, even a deeper stillness.
Okay. So you can watch at the end of the meeting because there's a good chance you won't be tired.
Okay.
Okay. Erica, would you like to share something? Erica's from Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm here. It's good for me to practice some meditation. I need to understand how I can do it, because when I do some meditation, I always want to sleep. After then, I don't understand it's good or not.
Well, I would say that going to sleep is not the best response to meditation. I mean, I think if you would continue to practice maybe in a group of people so you get some support, you'll find that you get energy just from sitting quietly, energy comes. So probably once that starts really happening for you, then you wouldn't be feeling sleepy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
I will try not to sleep.
Well, don't try not to sleep, but I think you'll find that, for example, twice a day now you're meditating in our community with a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so the energy of that group will support you in such a way that you probably won't be sleeping. And then once that's really working for you, then even if you meditate alone, you probably won't be sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it's a bit mysterious in the beginning with meditation that just sitting doing nothing, you find so much more energy comes.
Yeah, I feel this.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel any fear about that?
Yeah, I feel that some energy come to me.
Right. but you're not really afraid of it. Because, I mean, one of the reasons for sleeping is that there's a kind of resistance. Could be a kind of resistance, but I mean, probably the power that's coming to you is not so frightening, is it?
Sometimes it's difficult to me sitting, and I don't know, I need to do something when for example, when I go for a walk alone, it's the same of meditation for me. I still with yourself and feel my body. It's more comfortable to me, this practice.
Okay. You mean walking?
Yeah.
Is more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk and sleep.
Not sleep.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, you know, you're here as a volunteer, and you will find that as you stay longer, things will probably, you'll get other
John
kinds
David, I don't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Not very loudly.
Raj, can you hear me?
Now it's okay.
Okay. I'm hoping that somewhere in the background there is Om keeping all this meeting working.
Yeah.
Are you there, Om?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, good. I don't see your picture, so I was getting a bit concerned. Yeah. And we don't have a picture from Jan or Lakshmi. Are you able to bring their picture to light?
Yeah, Lakshmi, I'm trying, and Jan has a problem with the camera.
Okay. Good. Okay. So how about Papaji? We don't see you much on the Zoom. Would you like to share something? Can you let her sound work, Papaji?
Papaji, ja, klick mal auf dein Bildschirm. Ja.
Good?
Yeah, we hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So at the meditation, it was first also a bit tired from the day. And then it came this expansion, what I often have on his own. And that everything, that I feel very content and connected with everything. And this was beautiful because it went quite fast to this. And then I could stay forever.
We've just had a nice 4-day weekend together, so I think that gives a big support, of course.
Yeah. Then it's faster available, a bit like this.
Right.
And beautiful.
Okay, and we have Lily, who has arrived in our community as an old soul who may not be so old. Would you like to share something from the meditation? Can you open her sound? Can you hear me, Lily?
No. Lily? We can't hear Lily. It seems like her microphone is not working, but Dion wants to have a look.
Okay. All right. So let's go to VJ, who's just underneath, and he's smiling like he's very happy. Can you click him into action?
Я плохо слышу.
Yeah.
Очень tихо.
Dian muss Arjuna wegmachen als Translator. Muss er wegmachen, ihn jetzt sofort. Machst du Arjuna weg? Ja, mach ihn jetzt weg. Just a second, Arjuna. Just a second. We need to put you away from the translator.
I can see having more languages gets a bit more complicated.
It does. It does. So now it works. Now it works. Vijay?
Говори, Vijay.
Сказать нечего, но очень тихо,
Not,
глубоко.
not much to say. It was very deep and silent.
Okay, good. Okay, so so you may have noticed in the introduction to tonight's Zoom that my assistants decided that they should give me a topic in case I go off the rails. They've given me a topic. So
Мои ассистенты.
tonight we're looking at a short magazine article that was published in 1990, actually in a German magazine, and they had sent 4 questions to several spiritual teachers, and one of them was Punjaji, Papaji. And he was asked, what is enlightenment? Are you enlightened? Is it possible for everyone to get enlightened? What do you recommend to people who want to get enlightened? So these are very nice questions, actually, because, of course, that appeals to almost everybody. And of course, being Punjaji, being Papaji, he gives a rather unique answer, because his answer to what is enlightenment is, why do we think we're not enlightened? Why do we identify with being that we're not enlightened, that we identify as being bound, that we're bound? And he's saying that, of course, this idea that we're bound and we're not free, this is a concept, and it's a wrong concept. And this is, in a way, exactly the comment that made Punjaji famous, because people would come to him, me included actually, and they would find that when they asked him about this subject, he would make it very obvious that it's actually very, very simple. For example, he used to say, if you say you're free, you're free. And I used to find this very shocking, because I was coming from a situation with another spiritual master who suggested many kinds of meditation techniques. He suggested many therapy workshops, and he gave us the feeling that enlightenment was for very few people and would be something you could get from the outside in the future. And Punjaji, I sat in his meetings for nearly 5 years, and he used to constantly give us the priority that you only need to be quiet for half a second. He used to say, you've spent 5 billion years, and now I ask you for only half a second. So he used to tell us this almost every day. The implication was that human beings are being constantly reborn through many, many lifetimes. And in these lifetimes, we are always getting caught up in the candy shop, in the toy shop, because in the world, there's so many toys to be played with that we're always getting caught up with the toys. And we also get caught up in what we've been told, particularly by the priests. The priests from many different religions have a similar kind of tale to tell us, which is that now we're sinners, and if we repent our sins, if we become involved in the church, if we behave ourselves with the priest, then we can then come to God. And this usually is a bit later, a bit like not in this lifetime, but after this lifetime. If you behave in the right way, you can come to something they call heaven, a wonderful paradise. And what was shocking about Punjaji is when you would come with any kind of concept like that, then he would immediately challenge your concept. He would tell you to sit quietly, close your eyes, look inside, and discover what was happening inside. And usually after maybe about 20 minutes, he was able to bring the person sitting in front of him to a totally quiet space without thoughts. And when they came to this very quiet space without thought, often there would be some reaction. Sometimes people were very touched and started to cry through feeling so touched. Other people might start to laugh because suddenly they could see their concepts and they could see their friends' concepts and they could only laugh. So there were different reactions, but when you come deeply into quiet, then of course you're very present, very present. And so this is actually about being present. And Punjaji used to call the past the graveyard. He would tell you, don't spend time in the graveyard. And of course, many people are rather attached to the graveyard. We like to remember our past. We like to get caught up in our past. We feel maybe comfortable in our past. And perhaps we don't feel so comfortable in the present moment. And so, of course, in this answer here, he's also saying that the word enlightenment is another concept. And I remember when I came to him, I had spent 12 or 15 years being a student from Osho. I didn't know anything about spirituality when I first came to Osho. I started to meditate for the first time in his ashram when I was about 30. And he was talking very often in his meetings about enlightenment. And he was very charismatic. And I met many fine people in his ashram. And so he convinced me to give up my life and be interested in enlightenment. And it took many years for me to realize that, in fact, as Papaji says, enlightenment is another concept because it's something that might happen to me in the future. And somehow Punjaji had this great clarity and great simplicity, and he had also tremendous energy. In his meetings, you would come and sit on a cushion just in front of him. He was sitting on not a very high platform, but he was sitting on a platform. You would come and sit on a cushion just beneath him, and you had a very close energetic contact with him. And his energy was such that you would become quiet. I don't know if you've ever been in a room when somebody is striking a gong. You know, the gong is a big circular metal, like a shield. And if you strike a gong, it makes a very particular sound. And my experience is that it completely cuts your mind. You can't hold on to the thought if you're in a room with a gong. So it's a very kind of shortcut to get rid of your thoughts. It cuts right through the thought in a very dramatic way. So what Papaji was suggesting was that if you really want to be enlightened, then you have to be quiet. Be quiet. And he used to say to people that if your friends want to know how to be quiet, they should come to Lucknow and I will teach them to be quiet. That was his offer. That was his teaching, if you like, to be quiet. A little bit pity that Lakshmi is not with us tonight, because over this Easter weekend, she, supported, I would say, by the whole circle, she came to this Be Quiet. And it was very beautiful. Lakshmi is an older lady with white hair. And she's been coming to our meetings for some time now, I think about 2 years. And she has a tremendous priority for coming to freedom. And this weekend, there was a moment when she came and sat in front of everybody, and her face had completely changed. You can't get her picture up on the screen?
We're trying, but she's there. She can talk.
Yeah, but what I would like is people can see her face.
Yeah, maybe in 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay. So anyway, so there was this very strong moment when she came and sat in front of everybody, and her face had really changed, and she was in such a particularly touching place inside herself that she could hardly speak, but everybody could feel that she was completely present. And if she comes on the screen, we can perhaps talk a bit with her about that.
I can talk, John David.
You can come here on my screen. Let's do it like this.
Maybe Om can invite you. Can you bring her close to the screen so we can see her?
So does that work?
So Lakshmi is called Om at the moment. The lady with the blue scarf. So did I introduce you properly?
Yeah, properly.
How are you feeling today?
Sorry?
How are things going on today?
Yeah, I had a wonderful day, John David, because of I could give shiatsu to Indira, and I felt nearly the whole session, I felt this deep peace in me, inside of me, and it was so wonderful. I've been really absolutely present. Yeah.
Right.
And it was very touching for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've been very present the rest of the day when you're not giving Reiki to Indira?
Yes. Yeah, I can hold it. I think I can hold it, yes. And I remember your words. You told me I've got a jewel and I have to be very careful. And I feel a little bit, how can I say, not only touched, but ein bisschen berührbar, wie heißt das? Nicht injured, sondern thin skin. You know what I mean? With the thin
you have a
skin.
thin skin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
quite know what you mean by thin skin, but probably it's something good.
Yeah, I'm touched. I'm touched. I'm very touched. Yes, and I feel my silence. It's wonderful.
Right.
It's a great gift.
And are you staying with us for the rest of the week?
Oh yeah.
You're here for
I'm staying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Until
Yeah.
Sunday.
So
I'm
while we
very
have so
grateful.
many people, watching tonight, I'd like to make an advertisement for Indira. So many of you know Indira has been living in the Open Sky House for countless years, maybe 12, I think, or maybe even 12 years, I think. And for the last many years, she's been a left hand and a right hand for me, a wonderful assistant. Some maybe 6 years ago, she had a big opening, which happened in the office. And we made a film about that opening called Satori, Metamorphosis of an Awakening, I think it was. Anyway, you can buy this film. And she actually had several awakenings, but there was one particularly large awakening that actually happened in Italy. It happened in a retreat I gave near Florence. Was it near Florence? Can't remember. Maybe it wasn't near Florence. But anyway, it was in Italy, and she had her first big opening there, and then later here in the Open Sky House. And the film kind of tracks what happened to her, and also tracks what happened to her after the Satori. And that's actually very interesting because she described month by month over a whole year what was changing inside her. So I find that film actually a very interesting film for people really interested in freedom or enlightenment, if you want. Anyway, about 2 weeks ago, without me really thinking about it, one night I felt a bit of a tummy ache. I felt a bit of a stomach ache, probably eating too many chocolates. And so spontaneously I said to Indira, you can do the meeting tonight. So she did a meeting in our Open Sky House, and everybody found it very good. And so I encouraged her to start doing public meetings. So her next meeting, if you haven't already started to come into her meetings, on Sunday the 11th, she'll be making another satsang meeting. So I can strongly recommend, because somehow this woman and John David have met, and she has been the most incredibly surrendered and faithful assistant. She's been actually running the Open Sky House in the daily basis for many years. She's a very powerful woman, and also a very heartful woman. And now I find it really beautiful that somehow, just spontaneously, the right moment has happened for her to start giving her own meeting. And some of you know that in the last time, actually the last 2 months, I'm working on a new project, which is to invite people that met Papaji, to invite these people to tell me their stories. And this has been now pretty much every day for the last 2 months. The book's coming together very strongly. In fact, I already have 1 volume pretty much complete. Well, it's not completely edited, but I kind of have the material ready for 1 book. And I feel sometimes Papaji is actually inside my head directing the whole show. And Indira is helping me also do some of the interviews. It's a big job to talk to so many different people. And so we're doing this project also somehow together. And I strongly recommend her meetings. I mean, now she's just beginning, but I can imagine that she will develop into a wonderful teacher. she's already been a teacher for many years because she offers something which we call authentic theater. And this is using theater to act out some of our internal structures, to discover what is inside through theater. And everybody has been enjoying these meetings for now, I think, maybe even 4 or 5 years, I think, in the community. So I'm very happy now she does her own meetings. Yeah. Okay, so going back to this article, he was asked, what do you recommend to people who want to get enlightened? And his answer was, somebody who wants to be free should keep quiet for a second, even half a second, and don't look into the past or the future. The past is a graveyard. The mind itself is a bundle of thoughts. There is no thought which does not cling to any person, any place, any object. All these are from past identification. The concept I am bound and I am enlightenment are also past. The I is also a past thought. And even the present is too. That is the past. Don't stir any thought. Keep quiet. So this is a very intense and very simple teaching. In fact, he would always say, when he was pushed for the essence of his teaching, he would say, no teaching, no student, no teacher. So this was very shocking when I first came to see him, because I spent so many years in an ashram where there was a lot of teaching going on. And so, of course, traditionally in India, when you go to any ashram, every ashram would have its own program of teachings. And usually the master of the ashram would give talks. And you always had the feeling that you have to follow this program. Each ashram had a kind of program which you should follow. And that if you followed the program, then you would get this enlightenment. And then coming to Punjaji, I remember, I've told this story perhaps before on Zoom, but I came to him and I asked him what I thought was a very clever question. In a way, it came from my conditioning around spending years in Osho's ashram. And I asked him, how can I get rid of my block? And of course, I was assuming that he would tell me some special technique, which I'd never come across before. That I'd never come across before. But he gave me a brilliant answer. He said to me, show me your block. And in that moment, my whole mind kind of scrambled inside my brain, because, of course, when he said that, I immediately realized I don't have any blocks. The whole idea of blocks was a kind of concept that came from the therapy seminars that were being offered in Pune, in Osho's ashram. So I had a concept about blocks. And this was exactly the brilliance of Punjaji, that he could cut right into the essence. Okay, perhaps somebody would like to respond. We hope we have Om around to help with the, oh, he's there. Oh, okay. It's funny, tonight I'm having I see all 25 people at the same time, and then it's not so easy to find you, actually. I think the names need to be bigger. Anyway, so would anybody like to come through? Oh, and we'll sort out your camera or your microphone. Kamala, you look like you would like to say something.
I mean, we read this already in the weekend, and I read it again today, and I find it somehow really touching. But I can also see something I don't really get or understand.
And by the way, if anybody likes to read it for themselves, it's the most recent blog on my page of blogs. It's the most recent one that's been posted. Has a picture of Papaji. Yeah. So what is your concept for Kamala? Do you have any concepts about this subject?
Sure. I mean, today I had a funny moment because I could feel like some very old emotions came up, something like I'm not good enough and I can't and blah, blah, blah. And then I remembered this, just let it go. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real. But at the same time, I was completely not able to do this because this grab was so strong. And yeah. I made my home on the graveyard, I think.
Right. A lot of people camp out in the graveyard, I think. Yeah. 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 Okay, that's an honest answer. But I mean, it's the only way is to keep your awareness, you know, to really develop the ability to see what you've just said, you know, to see that you're in the graveyard. And often we're in our particularly favorite part of the graveyard, you know, and this part of the graveyard constantly returns, and somehow we give it energy and we welcome it. And you have to use your awareness to see that you're somehow inviting or welcoming some kind of concept which is not real. This is not easy. This is definitely not easy because unfortunately the way we're brought up, there are many things in our lives that has made us believe that we're not good enough or we're not worthy, that we can't accept ourselves. So this is rather a common situation with many people, that we hold on to some kind of concept that how could I become enlightened? How could I be special? We make enlightenment very special, and then it's so special that we can't imagine that it could be also for us. And certainly we can't imagine that it's already there. That actually what Papaji is pointing to is the fact that it's already there. You don't have to do anything to get enlightened. There's no question of getting it. You already got it. It's already in fact, your essence.
Yeah, like what happened today was that this big gap, yeah, between what I could tell myself, or I could know even from past experiences, that it's just unreal, really, and it's nothing to do with the present moment. But somehow it was like my system just can't believe something else, yeah, because this kind of feeling is so known somehow.
Yeah, and it's known and it's also comfortable. It may not be a particularly nice thing to know, but at least it's a kind of comfortable thing to know because it's been there, I mean, maybe all along in our lives. So in a way, it's normal, it's natural and normal. It's not so easy to step away and with our awareness see that it's the graveyard. It doesn't seem like the graveyard, it seems like me.
Mm.
I just found Kashi, but Kashi, you don't look like Kashi. What's going on with you? How's your arm? Can we put a sound on?
Yes, is the sound, yes, there?
Yeah.
Now I still...
You still sound like Kashi, even if you don't look like her.
Okay, now I have, the arm is painful still. That is, I think, nerves or something. It is burning, but okay. During the meditation, there was a moment that there was the silence and the pain, but there was the preference to put the attention on the silence. So the pain is there, but the silence can also be there. And but I have to Komala was talking about. I see myself often that I can react very stressy. I'm a stress. Also, when you were here, I remember that they say, Kashi, it's only a breakfast. And that is now going on in me that I think, okay, where I'm so stressy about, perhaps only a breakfast. So I must keep that in mind, and I can say it about everything.
Right.
But my system is also it is not only in the mind, it is in my whole body is reacting like this.
Yeah.
But
and yet I know you as somebody living in our community who also has the ability to sit for many hours in silence. So you have the ability to be quiet also. And probably in Tripedia also being quiet. So this kind of stressy situation is not all the time. You have the ability to be quiet, yeah?
Yes. But sometimes it is here more difficult than in your presence in Niedorf is more. Yeah, I can feel it more there. Something. Sometimes I have the feeling that I'm losing it here more easily, the silence. That your presence in the house is doing something. And the community is bigger. Sometimes that is also.
Well, I think the fact that the community is bigger, and maybe not only bigger, but we've been living together for many years, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're a kind of mature community.
Yeah.
Different from a younger community.
Yeah.
And if I think about our community 5 years after it's been running for 5 years, it was also not so mature. I think in the last few years, there's been a big change in the maturity of the people in the community. Okay, somebody else like to? Funny things happening. Yeah, I kept looking at my watch and it kept on saying 8:30. And then a bit later, I looked at my watch again and it still said 8:30. So I think I'm so present tonight, you see, that the time's not even changing. It's been 8:30 for about an hour now. And the real time is already 9:15, so we don't have so much longer. I was looking at my watch and thinking, that's very strange. It was 8:30 already before. Michael, what about some comment from Michael Peters? We haven't seen you for a long time. I see you've got a painting up on the wall behind you. Are you busy with painting?
Hello again. Yes.
Hello, yes.
Yes, I was very creative the last months and
okay.
very colorful. And it felt like my inner landscapes were very creative. So in that sense, it was beautiful. And yes, and the silence, it's sometimes easier to be peaceful, and sometimes my mind is also quite engaged with, trying to learn a lot about emotions and trying to deal more, to be peaceful. But altogether, it's, I think, this liveliness and peacefulness is at least many days mix. Sometimes like for maybe half the day, I'm feeling really peaceful, and half the day I feel more very busy in my mind.
Okay, maybe you can send us some of your some photographs of your recent painting, yeah?
Yeah, I love to. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And your friend, I don't know his name even.
My name is also Michael.
Ah, okay. Michael 1 and Michael 2.
Michael, yeah. And,
are you also a painter?
No, I'm a computer scientist.
Computer scientist, okay.
But I also like art and photographs and movies. So a little bit artist too.
Okay, good. Have you got any comment you'd like to make about the meeting tonight?
Yes, I was very stressed today and the days before, and Michael called me and said he had the feeling that he had to speak with me, and called me and asked me to join this meeting. And after I joined the meditation and the meeting, I feel a little bit more relaxed than before.
Okay, good. That's a good result. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
I think it's some months since we met you, Michael. Yeah. You've been a bit disappeared for a few months.
Yeah.
Lost in your creative fervor.
Yes, it was really like the painter in its own world a bit, because it's.
Okay.
I was really mostly every day for many hours in the studio.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very meditative process, because I'm slowly working. Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing some photographs.
Yeah. Happy to see you again.
Okay. Good. Luigi, you're looking very relaxed down there in Italy, reclining outside by the look of it. Is the weather warm?
Yes, I'm very, very relaxed. So
right,
much.
yeah. You look very good, yeah.
There is a surrounding of the word quiet. It's like I'm discovering that quietness is what we are.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm feeling to be quietness in the moment, in the present moment.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, this is a profound teaching, actually, and it's not something that immediately happens, because it's not like going in the library, book library, and seeing a silence badge or silent sign, be silent. It's being quiet is a bit different from being silent. It's much deeper in a way. It's an invitation to go deeply to your essence and be quiet in your essence.
Yes, because in the quietness, it's possible to find also some words, thoughts, and it's not a problem. The quietness is not touched from anything,
Yeah, it's not even touched from a few thoughts, actually. Yeah, the thoughts when the whole space inside is this silence, this quietness, then occasionally a thought passes by. It doesn't really cause any problem at all.
Not at all. And I want to share also a little thing, and it's some weeks or few months, doesn't matter. I don't know the time, but that during that you call meditation with closed eyes, I'm living the experience that it doesn't matter if with closed eyes or open eyes. The awareness or quietness is always here.
Right.
So it's like to be meditation in the same way with closed eyes or open eyes. What do you say about?
Well, what I would say is that, I've been offering in group situation, I've been offering that people come to this profound quietness. And then sometimes I say, okay, now you, with your eyes closed, see what happens if your eyes have become open. Open your eyes and then see if it stays with you, if the quietness stays. And then I say, okay, so quietly and carefully, slowly stand up and look again. Is it still quiet when your eyes are open and you're standing up? And most people would say yes, I think, to that. So then I say, okay, so now start slowly walking. And if we're in a room, walk around the room. So now, the eyes are open, you're standing up, you're walking, and see if the awareness and the quietness is still present. And of course, when it's an exercise and there's a group of people who are quiet, it's fairly easy to do that, to stay in movement and still be very quiet. And then the last challenge, and this isn't so easy, is I say, okay, and now talk. So how is it possible to be still in this quiet and to be able to talk? And that probably is the most difficult thing, because when we start to talk, some kind of automatic kind of engagement happens with the other person. And it's very difficult to stay really quiet then. It's very easy, you get kind of sucked into a conversation, and then you get, in a way, energetically sucked into the other person, and all quiet disappears. But I remember Ramana Maharshi, when he was talking to people about self-inquiry, he said something like this. He said, in the beginning, sit with your eyes closed and do the self-inquiry with your eyes closed. And he also said, if you continue doing the self-inquiry until you sleep, it will automatically continue through the night as you sleep, the self-inquiry. And then he said, when you become, when it becomes easy to do it with your eyes closed, he used to say, now you're ready to bring that self-inquiry into your ordinary life. So if you would be a cook in the kitchen, you keep the self-inquiry going while you're cooking in the kitchen. So whatever your task might be, you continue your task and at the same time keep running with the self-inquiry. So I think that's a good indication that basically to bring this quiet into our whole life. It's not really a spiritual practice. It's an invitation in a way to live our life in being quiet. And when you can do that, the whole quality of your life changes actually. It's
Absolutely.
like a fundamental shift happens in your life. And you find that your relationships with other people change. And of course, if it goes on for some time, you start to realize that you're living in peace, that there's a deep ground of peace inside.
Yes.
And you don't need to use words like enlightenment. You don't go around saying, I'm enlightened, I'm enlightened. It's not like that. It's just that you realize that the whole quality of your life has changed. And almost without doing anything, you find that there is a quality of peace inside. And this peace can also come into love. You can be aware that inside you have a kind of energy field, which you can call love. It's not I love you kind of love. It's another kind of love. It's more that you can say we come to recognize our essence. Something like we recognize our essence, and we realize that the how can I say that you can call this essence love. Actually, you can call this essence love. And again, when this happens in your life, you discover that everything changes in the way you relate with other people, and you become kind of blessed. Actually, life is not really a problem anymore. Life is not a suffering anymore. Life is well, as Papaji says, he was asked, what is the use of enlightenment? It's a rather good question, which maybe we don't ask so often. What's the point of it? What's the use of it? And he's saying enlightenment is good for all beings to enjoy happiness, to keep them in peace and enjoy everything that the Creator has promised for his children. It's a very, very beautiful, simple statement from Papaji, but you can't really understand that statement until you have a taste of living in this peace, in living in this quietness. And then what he's saying is absolutely simple and absolutely clear. And in a way, this is not a great spiritual statement in one way. He doesn't use some special words, but actually this is in a way the essence of what everybody is interested in. We don't really care a shit about becoming enlightened. We care about being happy. We care about being in peace. And we care about this energy of love. And so what he's saying there is so, I find it so lovely, because he's not really being spiritual. He's being like an ordinary man telling us that we can be, why you can't be happy, why you can't be living in a space where you can enjoy all the possibilities. You can sing, you can dance, you can paint, you can make merry, you can be creative. And this is what, in a way, is being offered in our existence. Whoop. Just lost my. Getting too excited here. I'm getting a bit Italian.
Yeah.
Just lost my earplug. Because, you know, we've been running our community now for 15 years, and there's no doubt that in the last few years, the level of silence in the community has become very profound, and also the creativity. It's such a big band now that we've got enough people for 2 bands. And we've got now a violin, actually 2 people playing violin. We have somebody playing the cello, somebody's learning the saxophone. We have a new drummer. I mean, it's particularly with music, the community is a kind of a buzz with creativity, I would say. And I think this is a direct kind of fruit of a deep silence. When we sit together, there's silence, there's quiet. And out of this quiet, a lot of creativity is emerging by itself.
I agree completely.
Yeah. Anyway, my watch still says 8:30. Anybody else like to come into the meeting before we go? It's actually 9:30. I discovered on my trusted iPhone. So I have to get a new battery, I think, for my phone and my watch. Yeah. So you're all speechless? Would you like to enter the meeting, Karen? You look slightly tired tonight, but you're having good weather down there in Dania?
Yes, it's quite warm. In the night, it's a bit cold, but when the sun comes out, you can start sweating.
Yeah. You notice how Arjuna's face is smiling, so he's joining you tomorrow, yeah?
Yes,
You better meet him at the airport.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And then I'm coming with Indira next week, and
great.
We've set up meetings with the house owner and the lawyers, so we're getting close to buying the house, I think.
It's great, yeah.
Would you like to comment on this quotations from Papaji?
It is so
speechless.
It is so far from explaining, from thinking about. As soon as I start wanting to understand, it's just doesn't work.
Okay, we're gonna have to put you in the Vipassana weekend, I think. When we come there. Okay, I think Angel has already left. Is Pedro there? Pedro's also left. Okay, so anyway, so I think we'll finish now, and thank you all for joining this meeting. It's very lovely to have you all on the screen at the same time. And actually, it's easy to get lost, actually, I noticed. Even though I see everybody, when there's 25 people, I can't really absorb so much. It's easy to lose a few people around the corners, I think. And before we sign off, I would just remind you of 2 things. From a couple of days ago, the Open Sky Press, that's our publishing company, is offering everything from us at half price. So all our films and books are available now at half price. And also on the 1st of May, spring comes miraculously in Ukraine every year on the 1st of May. And so we're having a 9-day retreat just outside Kiev. It's a beautiful time. The weather is very good usually. The trees are covered in flowers. And you won't believe this. Well, I didn't believe it. But anyway, at night, we have nightingales singing in the trees. And in the morning, I nearly always hear a cuckoo. And I remember this cuckoo, 70 years ago when I was a little boy in England, there were many cuckoos. But it's a long time since I've heard any cuckoos. But in Ukraine, they appear in this, I think they just like my retreat every year. They come to my retreat every year. So you can enjoy at night the nightingales, and in the day you can enjoy the cuckoos. So probably most of you never really thought of going to Ukraine. And I would just like to encourage you to try, because where we are, it's very beautiful nature. We're right on the edge of a huge river, and it's the retreat place is a kind of park, beautiful nature, and we have a small hotel with very nice quality rooms, and we also have tents looking out on the river. So if you don't have much money, you can stay in a tent, and if you're if you have more money, we have nice rooms with their own bathroom. So strongly recommended. And this mix of Ukrainian energy and Western energy, Western Europe and Eastern Europe mixing is always very, very special, actually. Okay, so thank you. Nice.